Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Now, in today's video, yes, I'm going to be getting rid of a whole bunch of my fish. I'm actually going to be taking them to the fish store. As you know, this aquarium hobby is expensive. Filters are expensive, fish is expensive, aquariums, they're expensive. But with this key trick that I do quite often, I'm able to get a lot more stuff for the money, so to speak. Basically, say you buy a fish for $3 at the pet store. You buy 4 of them, you breed them, and then you can basically sell those baby fish once they've grown up back to the pet store to recoup some of that money, most of that money actually, and then you can use that towards buying other pieces of equipment or other fish. That's exactly what we're going to be doing today. But first off, I'm going to throw you back to when I first set up the tank that the fish are going in. Basically, I have some fish outside. It's getting winter, so those fish have to move inside, and I needed a place to put them, so I'm gonna throw you back to the footage where I set up a fish tank. Alright, now that we got the fish tank all set up, I can start throwing you into where we're actually removing some of the fish, some of the stuff to sell. Basically what I do is I call the pet store and I see what they're in need of, if they need shrimp, if they need fish, kind of what they're low on and what they're willing to buy from me. Then once I get that list, or once I figure out what they need, I can go ahead and go through my tanks, go ahead and gather those items up, or gather those invertebrate fish out, whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw you back to that footage now where we got some fish out and got them ready to take to the store. So first thing I'm gonna do is come over to this tank and grab out some of the larger cherry shrimp. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bring in 15. This tank has some of my biggest cherry shrimp and they want the big ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab about 15 shrimp out of this aquarium. I got all 15 of them netted out right here. Now I just gotta go ahead and grab the bag that fell and get these into the bag. Now, I got the cherry shrimp all bagged up and good to go. But now the next fish are coming out of here. So, I have these 2 big silver dollars, and they're okay fish. I mean, they don't really do much. They don't look too good. I don't really have an issue with them except that they eat my plants. They literally eat all of my live plants down to nothing, and that's just not okay. So, I'm gonna be grabbing these 2 silver dollar fish out of here and bringing them to the fish store. And I need more room in this tank anyway because we're getting a really big fish for this tank for me to hold kind of over the winter. So we gotta go ahead and just kind of clear up some room. And unfortunately, the silver dollars have to go because they keep eating the plants. Okay, so I got the shrimp right here, the silver dollars right here. That's all the store can take for this trip. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring these into the store. I'm gonna let you know what we get for store credit, and I'll also let you know if we get anything else.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So I'm back from the fish store and I came back with some coral. I just traded some stuff for this big piece of xenia, pulsing xenia, whatever, it's just in the bag right now chilling. Basically for the shrimp I traded in, I got $1.75 for small ones and then $2 each for the big ones. That's half of what they normally sell them as. And then for the 2 silver dollars, I got $5 a piece. This coral right here was 25 bucks, so if that kind of puts things into perspective for you, there you go. But I'm gonna go ahead and start acclimating this coral just like I would any other coral, and then place it in the saltwater aquarium. Alright, so it is a little bit later and the reef tank's doing really good. I placed the new coral right down here. Sorry about the light, it's a little washed out, but this is as good as we could get. So as you can see, it's nice opened up and it is pulsing quite a bit, which is where the tentacles kind of open and close on their own. And it's also swaying really nicely with the flow. Also, here's a quick little update from the corals we got about like a week or 2 ago. This red mushroom and this little leather coral on the left, these are also doing really nice. And then all my other mushrooms, hammerheads, they're all doing really, really well also. By the way, the koi fish are actually doing really, really well. We had a storm last night, which just blew a whole bunch of debris into this skimmer. And basically what happened is my skimmer got so full, it started sucking in air. And the AWASI filter pump that is under that pot right there automatically turns off as soon as it sucks in air. And basically what ended up happening was, before it could suck in air, the flow was so little being sucked through the filter, like not enough water could get through, so it was just pulling as hard as it could, but not very much water was coming in. And it caused the waterfall to actually leak. And so basically my pond drained like 6 inches. I wish I would have taken a video, but I didn't. And then the filter automatically shut off once it started sucking air. So this morning I had to come out here and redo everything, fill it back up, clean the filter basket, and the AWASI pump is still doing great. Auto shut off came in handy. It didn't ruin the pump when it sucked in some air, and everyone's doing good. All the koi fish are good, the plants are thriving as well. Now this right here is my 110-gallon platy pond, and today we're gonna be taking it down. I'm gonna be getting rid of most of the fish in here. The reason I didn't take these platies when I took the other fish to the fish store was because they didn't have room. However, I'm planning to bring them probably next week. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of platies in here, but it's about to get really, really cold, and I don't want them to freeze to death, so I'm gonna be taking this pond down, and I actually set up a tank in our laundry room for some of the smaller platies, and I'm gonna put some of the bigger ones in my other tanks to kind of hold them for a week. I don't know if you can see, but there's absolutely a ton of them in here. We probably have about 30 to 50 on our hands. The ducks are also doing good, by the way. But I'm gonna go ahead and I think start draining this and just start netting out some fish, and then we'll divide them among some tanks. Here is a better look of what we got going on here. As you can see, so many platies. So I went ahead and brought a drain hose over, and I'm just gonna start draining this out. I hope I have enough room for all these guys. I think I should though. Okay, so what I went ahead and did is took all the fake plants that were in that tub and moved them into this tank. Not only will that keep the bacteria that's on them alive, but what it's gonna do is provide a whole bunch of new cover for the new fish that are coming in here, because I am a little bit worried that that big parrot cichlid will try to chase them around. So what I did was I put a whole bunch of fake plants in here. This will prevent any of that from happening. It will allow all the fish places to hide. I'm only gonna put the bigger ones in here. The smaller ones will go in different tanks. But I think we definitely have enough cover for them to feel nice and safe.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
An hour later, I got pretty much all the water out, all the filters and stuff out, and basically all of the fish. So here are the 3 containers I brought in. Here's one of the tanks. As you can see, it's all up and running. I put a whole bunch of the gravel and plants that was in that pond in here to instantly cycle this tank. That's why it's super dirty. But as you can see, we have a couple adults. These will be going in the big tank. A whole bunch of like middle-sized, I don't know what you would call these, but there's a lot of them. And then about like 50 babies. So these will all have to go into like a grow out tank, obviously, to grow out. And that is gonna be this tank. So all of the babies, like the tiny ones, are gonna be going in this tank. So I'm gonna start flow acclimating them. You can't see it very well, but the filter screen is too small to suck any of them in, so we're good. Okay, so to put things in perspective, we have, I'm gonna say like 50 to 60 tiny fish in this tank. In here, there's probably another 35, 40 going into my 55-gallon tank, maybe 10, 12 going into my 36-gallon tank, and 8 going into my 15-gallon tank. Now these will all be holding for about 2 weeks before I can bring them into the fish store to sell. Okay, so these guys are completely acclimated, same temperature of water, and I'm gonna take all of these guys. You can't really see them, but there's so many of them, and they are just gonna go right into this aquarium. It's gonna be a little bit hard to see them just because this tank is kind of so fogged up and old, but they are all in there swimming around doing good, and once again, the filter cannot suck them up, so that's also good. Next up is gonna be these 8 in this kitchen tank. Same thing, they're completely acclimated, and we're just gonna go ahead and let these guys go right in to the tank. Next up in the 36-gallon tank is going to be all these guys. I'm not quite sure how many they are, but we're about to find out. So in here, it looks like, I'm gonna count them as they go out. We got 1, 2, 3, 23, and 24. So 2 dozen platies just went into this tank. But luckily they have tons and tons of space, so they should be perfectly fine in here. And then last but not least, I'm taking this opportunity to clean out the AWASE canister filter. The flow was slowing down, so I thought I should just quick rinse off some of the pre-filter media just to make sure it's good to go for the new fish. And then last but not least, these 16 need to be introduced to this aquarium. There, so there's quite a bit in there. I didn't want to go too crazy because I was afraid this parrot cichlid might try to beat some of them up, so I just tried to go lightly with some of the bigger ones, and I think everyone in here is going to do really good. Well, except for that one being chased. Okay, we might have a problem. Never mind, everyone seems to be chilled out now, and everyone's getting along good. Parrot cichlid's down there in the corner, right next to some platies, and there does not seem to be an issue. He's not really chasing them anymore. He's just kind of doing his own thing, which is good. Every once in a while he'll chase one, but he's never gotten near close enough to eat one because he is kind of super slow.
3 days later.
Okay, so it is a little bit later, and I just went ahead and called the pet store to see if I could bring in some more platies, and unfortunately they were not able to take any in today because they have a lot of fish already. However, I'm gonna probably wait until maybe Wednesday, so in a few days, and I'll go ahead and bring some in. But this video will be up before then, so we're just gonna have to leave it at that. These tanks are full of these platies, but these little orange platies will be gone very, very soon and will be traded into the fish store. Might as well do a quick update on the coral. As you can see, it's opened up a lot. And then I moved this guy over here and he's doing really, really well. One more thing is when I put some of the platies in this tank, this fish did chase them around like I mentioned. I took some more out, but I left the adults in and one of them happened to get ick, so I thought I would just go ahead and show you guys what I used to treat ick. Because there's some plants in here I did not want to treat with salt, so I treated with this Marine Land ick remedy, did some water changes, and it seemed to have pretty much cleared up. All the other fish were fine. It was just this one platy that wasn't looking too good. But I think we're all good to go in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this tank. There's only like 4 platies in here right now. And just like that, that is pretty much it. We got the fish all set up. Those platies still have to wait a little bit before I can bring them in. It doesn't matter, I'm just holding them right now. Yeah, that's kind of how the system works. Basically, you grow up fish, you raise them, you breed them, you whatever, and then once you have those fish, you can go ahead and sell them to your fish store. Not all fish stores will do it, so you will have to find one that's willing to like work with you and stuff. Now that that's done though, while we're waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and head to Petco and go ahead and show you some stuff they have there. Gonna go ahead and check out their saltwater, freshwater system, see if they have anything good today. Let's go. So first up right here is the feeder system. Now, the water's super nasty, and that's because the filter is broken. So basically what they've done is put a whole bunch of like small internal filters in here. As you can see, the water's nasty. It's kind of divided up into 3 rows, as you can see right there. And they have a little internal filter per each row. However, I'm hoping soon for the fish, the filter will get fixed soon. Next up in the saltwater system, the top row of the saltwater system actually looks pretty good. Got a nice sailfin tang there, and then pretty sparse, a cleaner shrimp on the far end. Nothing crazy there. But these tanks weren't looking too hot. Lots of algae everywhere, really not looking too good. The fish, I didn't see any ick or anything like that. One of the fish was dead, by the way. Just thought I should throw that in there. And there's just a lot of algae down here. Back in the goldfish section, there was this fancy goldfish tank, but there was also some koi in here. As you can see, it's a nice kind of medium-sized tank. But there was some koi in here. There was this pretty yellow one, which I really, really liked. And then there was this multicolored white, orangey one. They weren't looking the healthiest, so I didn't get any. Now we're going into the live bearer section. Now, these mollies right here, this is a perfect point to bring up, is that these fish right here are perfect fish for breeding for profit. Basically, these guys are cheap. As you can see, they're like $4. You can buy a whole bunch of them. They breed very, very easily, and the baby fish are very easy to raise up. And then you can just sell them for maybe $1.50, $2 each. Kind of depends on what a store will give you, but they yield a lot of money because they do breed so fast. Last but not least, here are a couple betta fish right here. These were just above the feeder goldfish system. And then I also came across these plants, which are like bulbs. You put them in the gravel, and then they like grow out of the gravel. I don't know, thought it was pretty cool. Maybe I'll get some for a video later on. Now that is going to be pretty much it for the video. Sorry if you can hear the ducks in the background. They're quacking a lot. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Once again, thanks for watching, and goodbye.